What's up, guys? It's your boy, Grandmaster Jordan, back again with a brand new episode of Holocron Radio. Man, it is good to be here. Episode 3. These last 2 weeks have been very amazing. We've been getting a lot of views, and, we're starting fresh, so not as many views as we want it to be, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep on applying the pressure. When people start watching, people start, doing everything they can to see Holocron Radio, we're going to grow, and we're going to grow as a family within the Star Wars community. So don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Anything you are, if you are a Star Wars fan, any Star Wars fan, Star Wars nerd, Star Wars, whatever the case may be, like, share, subscribe. I will truly appreciate it. So, let's get this party started. So, today, today's episode, it's dedicated to Luke Skywalker. This is a Luke Skywalker episode. So, here we are, Luke Skywalker dedicated episode with the Luke Skywalker Star Wars fact. Our main topic today is going to be Luke Skywalker of canon versus Luke Skywalker of legends. Which Luke Skywalker is the best or the better Luke Skywalker? And to end it all off, our Jedi of the week obviously is Luke Skywalker. So here we are. Before I jump into today's episode, I do want to discuss a couple things real quick. I want to talk briefly about the Star Wars fandom. So I want to discuss that there is a difference between having a different opinion and then completely dismissing an entire section of the Star Wars fandom, right? Recently, I had a comment on a post that basically said, you know what, I have the post right here and I'll read it to you. So I'm not going to tell you the person's name for privacy reasons and everything like that, because that's just not my style, but I do want to read off their comment. So basically, they said that the expanding universe is a glorified fan fiction. George only okayed it to make money off of it. They were never ever a part of his universe. He made that clear. And only a small part of the fandom like it, not the mainstream part of the fandom. I am a diehard fan, and I never read them. I only watched the movies and live action TV shows, and I watched Return of the Jedi in theaters when I was 7. Star Wars is a lifelong special interest of mine. Let the expanding universe go. In regular sci-fi terms, it's alternate universe, or AU. It was never really part of George's vision. He never saw it that way, and he is the creator of the universe. Disney is in charge of it now, so really let it go. It's not perfect, but neither was George's. You guys are embarrassing to the rest of the fandom when you do this. So that was the comment. Basically telling us, fans, what we should let go and what should we accept. And, here's my problem with that. Whether you love Legends or hate it, the expanding universe was part of Star Wars for decades. Millions of fans grew up reading the stories, playing the games, reading the comic books. Characters like Mara Jade, Kyle Katarn, Darth Bane, Revan, Gianna Solo, Jacen Solo, Ben Skywalker, Anakin Solo. Those characters helped keep Star Wars alive during the years when there was no more movies. Like, let's look at it like this. The original the original Thrawn trilogy came out in 1991. If it wasn't for that trilogy, George Lucas probably wouldn't have had a prequel trilogy. He incorporated those ideas into the prequel movies. Coruscant, for instance, came from the expanded universe. You don't have to like those stories. You don't have to consider them your personal canon. I mean, George Lucas didn't, whatever the case may be. But no one has the right to dismiss an entire generation of Star Wars because they connected with different stories and different whatever realities of Star Wars, whatever. Star Wars is supposed to bring people together and never to divide. We can have our discussions about the differences and different opinions about something within Star Wars. Everyone has their own interpretations of what certain things in Star Wars means. And that's fine. We can be divided over that. But we should never be putting down a fan who is a Star Wars lover, whether they love Disney or if they love Legends. Whatever the case may be, there is a reason why we became Star Wars fans. For me, I took this very personally because if it wasn't for the expanded universe, I would not have been a dedicated Star Wars fan like I am today. My Star Wars lore knowledge, especially of the expanded universe, tops anything I know about cartoons, anime. Even my Marvel and DC knowledge doesn't compare to what Star Wars knowledge I have. So that's saying a lot. I absorbed a lot of Star Wars within a short span of time. And to say that I shouldn't do that, or I should let it go just because George Lucas, it wasn't part of his fandom or whatever, that's just dismissive. And I don't respect people like that. I think that we all should be able to enjoy Star Wars the way we want to, and we can have discussions about our differences and interpretations, but we should never put each other down because of those opinions. Because at the end of the day, my opinion doesn't matter and your opinion doesn't matter, except to us. But we should still respect each other's opinions. And that's basically, that's what it is. And people, to me, that are like that, they're Imperials. That's for the Empire to do, to put people down and oppress people. We don't do that. So, here at Holocron Radio, we respect everyone's right to love the sequels, the canon, the Disney stuff, and we also respect people that love expanding universe, everything like that. I love Star Wars, you guys love Star Wars, and that's why we're here. I will never put down your opinion about anything. Now, I will argue my opinion against you, but I will never disrespect anyone for their personal opinion on something that I might have a difference in. I love hearing different opinions, and I love hearing different incorporations or interpretations of what you think is right and wrong of the Star Wars story at hand, whatever the case may be. So, that's how, that's just what I wanted to get started with for today and everything. So, let's open up the Holocron and let's get started. Let's get started with today's episode. So, today's Star Wars fact of the week. Again, this is a Luke Skywalker dedicated episode. I decided that I wanted to talk about Luke Skywalker because he is, to me, is the greatest Jedi in canon. Well, no, I'm sorry. He's the greatest Jedi in the expanding universe and the greatest Jedi ever for, especially Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. He's the greatest. For the fact of the week, for our Star Wars fact of the week for Luke Skywalker in Legends became an apprentice to a resurrected Emperor Palpatine. By the way, in the Legends comic, there was no, well, he came back somehow type of situation. Sorry, Rise of Skywalker, I had to throw that, jab at you. In the Dark Empire comic series, that's Dark Horse Comics as well, so if you guys want to go check it out, it's called Dark Empire. Palpatine returned through a series of clone bodies and everything like that, and attempted to rebuild his empire. Now, Luke realized he couldn't defeat Palpatine through conventional means like he did before, and Palpatine came back a little bit more stronger, powerful, whatever the case may be. So he made a very controversial, especially for this time, this is a very controversial decision for Luke Skywalker at this time. He infiltrated the dark side from within and became Palpatine's apprentice in an effort to learn his plans and ultimately destroy him. This was a crazy thing. Luke Skywalker going to the dark side, becoming the apprentice of the Emperor. It was a whole ordeal in the Dark Empire comics. I'm not going to spoil it. Well, yeah, I'm a little bit going to spoil it for you, but there was a lot of different things that happen in there, and I again recommend you guys go read Dark Empire. It's really great. For a time, Luke served the reborn Emperor and the dark side. However, unlike his father, Anakin Skywalker, he was able to return to the light and defeated Palpatine once again with the help of his sister, Leia Organa. So, unlike staying on the dark side and everything, he was able to redeem himself, and with Leia Organa's help, he was able to defeat the Emperor again. But the psychological toll it took on Luke Skywalker would haunt him for the remainder of his days because of the things that he had to do under the resurrected Emperor Palpatine. But that did not stop his journey, especially in the expanding universe. So that is our Star Wars fact of the week. With that being said, time to jump into the main topic. So we are going to be again discussing who is the better Luke Skywalker, canon or Legends Luke Skywalker. Let's look at their similarities. Let's look at the similarities here. So, both Luke Skywalkers helped the Rebel Alliance transition to the New Republic. So, after Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker stayed on as a general for the Rebel Alliance, and once enough of the Empire was defeated a little bit over and everything, the Rebel Alliance was able to transition into the newly formed New Republic, and Luke Skywalker had a lot to do with that. They both believed the Jedi Order needed to be rebuilt. So, of course, the dream to bring back the Jedi as peacekeepers and everything. Both founded a new Jedi Order and became Jedi Masters of a new generation of Jedi. So, they both were able to succeed in creating another Jedi Order. They both faced the challenge of training new Jedi in a galaxy recovering from the Empire. Of course, I mean, you've had the Empire ruling the galaxy for 20-something years, and that transition into the New Republic, plus you're trying to train, it's a lot to really process here. And, at the end of the day, both of their nephews fell to the dark side. And let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at what that looked like. So, this is Ben Solo versus Jacen Solo. So Ben Solo is the Disney canon son of Han Solo and Leia Organa. He's their only child. Jacen Solo is the son of Han Solo and Leia Organa. He also has a twin sister named Jayana Solo and a little brother named Anakin Solo. So the Solos had 3 kids. For canon Luke, for when his nephew fell to the dark side, he feared Ben Solo's future and power. With that fear, he tried to strike him down and kill him. So, in The Last Jedi, if you watch the monologue of like why Luke Skywalker's new Jedi Order failed, whatever the case may be, you see that he received a vision, whatever type of thing, and it was to reveal that he is more powerful, and he feared that power because it had the same thing of like the same implications of Darth Vader type of situation. So he tried to kill him. He raised his lightsaber and tried to kill him, and with that being said, he hesitated. Ben Solo, using the power that Luke Skywalker feared, destroyed the entire New Jedi Order camp, whatever the case may be, and almost killed Luke Skywalker. Well, Ben Solo runs off and joins the dark side anyway, and joins Snoke, and becomes Kylo Ren. And Luke's Jedi Academy was destroyed, and Luke had to go into self-imposed exile because he felt like he failed. Now, with Legends Luke Skywalker, he initially believed that Jacen Solo could be redeemed. At the beginning, when Jacen Solo... So, after the events of New Jedi Order, the book series, we go into Legacy of the Force. And Jacen Solo has become a high-ranking official within the newly reformed New Republic replacement, which is the Alliance of Free Planets, the Galactic Alliance of Free Planets, whatever the case may be. And he is a high-ranking official there, still balancing Jedi duties, but morally onto this. But as the story progresses, he slowly becomes more unbalanced and going into the dark side. He eventually murders Luke Skywalker's wife, Mara Jade, and once the truth comes out over who actually murdered Mara Jade, he had to adjust his beliefs over if he could redeem Jacen or not. Luke Skywalker recognized that Jacen crossed over fully into becoming Darth Caedus. So with that being said, Luke Skywalker and the Jedi Council of the New Jedi Order sanction Jayana Solo, his twin sister, the Sword of the Jedi, to stop Darth Caedus and bring him down. So Jayana ultimately confronted and kills Jacen Solo in the last book of the Fate of the Jedi series. Now, both Luke Skywalkers ended up going into exile. Let's look at the difference here. Canon Luke Skywalker exiles himself to Ahch-To. He cuts himself off from the Force. He left Leia to deal with the First Order, and he believed the Jedi should end. Luke, in Legends, the Galactic Federation of Free Alliances leader, Admiral Dalla, blamed Luke Skywalker for the second Galactic Civil War, which Jacen Solo started, blah, 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 as he was transitioning to Darth Caedus, whole thing there. So, Luke was banished from Coruscant and forbidden from interfering in the affairs of the New Jedi Order. So, him and his son Ben Skywalker decides to take a journey into the unknown regions and everything and travel to where Jacen Solo was traveling to learn how he descended into the dark side. So they went into this little odyssey type of thing. With that exile, though, Luke Skywalker was able to discover the lost tribe of the Sith and to discover that Abeloth, which is basically the evil version of the father from Mortis, is alive and well, and she's, one of the biggest bads there ever was in the universe. So then we go into Canon Luke's, what, his accomplishments was a little bit here, right? Canon Luke helped train Rey in a way. I mean, it really mirrored how Yoda trained him to where he trains Rey and everything like that, but it's completely in a different situation, right? He dies basically inspiring the galaxy in his final stand against Kylo Ren. That's basically the inspiration to continue the fight for the Rise of Skywalker, whatever the case may be. And that's where the accomplishments kind of ends for Canon Luke. If you go into Legends Luke, he led the Jedi Order. He led the new Jedi Order through the Yuuzhan Vong War, the Dark Nest Crisis, the Second Galactic Civil War, and against Abeloth. He rebuilt the Order. If you look at Canon Luke, he became a hermit. If you look at Legends Luke, he was able to overcome every situation that came at him. He was able to found the new Jedi Order. He was able to get married with Mara Jade and have a son, Ben Skywalker. If you look at the core differences compared to the similarities, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker of the Legends universe, he wins. I am sorry. And I have to put my own personal opinion on this, is that Luke Skywalker's character was ruined in The Last Jedi. And even Mark Hamill said, like, this was not my Luke Skywalker. And you have to really look at it. Like, we have to really break it down to kind of understand what he means by that. And to break it down, we have to go back to Return of the Jedi. At Return of the Jedi, I will never forget this. This is where the argument for me comes that Legends Luke Skywalker is better than Canon Luke Skywalker. Legends Luke Skywalker was able to, I'll get to that in a second. Canon Luke Skywalker. You're telling me Luke Skywalker goes to Endor, willingly surrenders himself to Darth Vader, accepts that he is his father, and is willing to bet his life that there is still good in Darth Vader. Now, mind you, Darth Vader has been Darth Vader for 23 years. Like, 23 years, he's been Darth Vader. He's done some horrible, horrible things as Darth Vader. But with that being said, Luke Skywalker still sees good in his father. When Luke Skywalker says these words, he says, "You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me." That resonated with me the first time I ever watched Return of the Jedi, because through all in all, Luke Skywalker could have given into his hatred. He could have easily struck Darth Vader down, but he remembered that he and his legacy is the Jedi and the Jedi Order. Whether they were wrong, right, whatever the case may be, he is a Jedi ultimate, through and through. And what Last Jedi did, it was try to tell me that Luke Skywalker, the man who redeemed Darth Vader and brought Anakin Skywalker back, and even through all in all, Anakin Skywalker's redemption was good enough for him to become a Force ghost. You're telling me that the Luke Skywalker of canon saw a vision of Kylo Ren's power and was like, nah, I gotta kill him. That's what you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me that Luke Skywalker gave up on the galaxy, let his sister, who's already dealing with the fact that her son is on the dark side, and Han Solo's gone, with Chewie trying to relive their smuggler days, whatever the case may be. The First Order is directly the fault. The First Order's organization and leadership of Kylo Ren and everything like that is a direct result of Luke Skywalker's failure in the canon, and Luke Skywalker's solution to that was, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and head out now because I failed. Luke Skywalker of Legends had tons of failures. Like, this was not an easy road for him. Like, you can say he had failures stacked on top of failures. I think one of the biggest failures for Luke Skywalker was Jacen Solo. That was one of his biggest failures. Yet he continued pushing. He continued to make sure that the new Jedi Order could grow, could be safe, and that they would be there for the New Republic, the Galactic Alliance, whatever the case may be. That is why Legends Luke Skywalker is a better Luke Skywalker than regular canon Luke Skywalker, because you're not going to tell me that the man who redeemed Anakin Skywalker back from Darth Vader is the same man who decided that I can't redeem Jacen Solo, Ben Solo, and help him. That is not, that's a crazy take to me. Jacen Solo, the reason why Jacen Solo's fall is way more tragic than Ben Solo is because Jacen literally was captured by the Yuuzhan Vong. He was literally tortured, and on top of that, he was trained by Virgie, a really psychological Force user who didn't really associate herself with a Jedi, but didn't really associate herself with the Sith. And I think the whole thing of what led Caedus down this road, led Darth Caedus and Jacen Solo down this road of him becoming a Sith Lord, was that he wanted to protect the galaxy from threats like that. But in his way, he became evil. He became, really attuned to those type of things. And then on top of that, losing his brother Anakin Solo during the Yuuzhan Vong War was not helpful at all. So with that being said, Luke Skywalker, either one, they had their failures. But Luke Skywalker of Legends never gave up on his convictions or his new Jedi Order. Luke Skywalker of canon did. And we could chalk it up to the writing, of course. I always chalk up the sequel's failures to very poor writing anyways. But that was probably the most poorly written thing I've ever had to watch about Luke Skywalker. And I will never forgive the sequels just off of that part. I will never forgive the sequels for trying to tell people that Luke Skywalker's humanity matters more than his redemption type of thing. That will never get to me. I'm sorry. I will die on 10 hills and tell anybody that will listen, whatever the case may be. You don't even have to agree with me, but Legends Luke Skywalker is the best representation of the Jedi. He's one of the best Jedi Grandmasters that the Jedi has ever seen, whether it's New Jedi Order or the original Order. Nothing will convince me otherwise. I'm sorry. So there's that. So we're gonna jump into our Jedi of the week, and it's Grandmaster Luke Skywalker of Legends. We really have to like sit here, and I really gotta like, I know it's repetitive, but like let's take a look at the things that he was able to accomplish. I mean, Luke Skywalker was able to defeat the Empire. Well, let's go back. He blew up the Death Star at 19. Was able to defeat the Empire like 23. And then, like 5 years later, he was able to rebuild the Jedi Order basically from scratch with like nothing. And his first set of students and Yavin 4, there's a lot of craziness that happened within these years of him rebuilding the Jedi Order. Then, of course, I mean, he was the Grand Master. Like, he was kind of opposed, like if you read the books and everything, he was really opposed to bringing back the council, but he kind of had to in the Yuuzhan Vong invasion in the New Jedi Order series. And that Jedi council started off as him and 6 other masters with 6 New Republic / Galactic Alliance members serving as the Jedi Council, right? Because the Galactic Alliance was like, well, we need to have government interference, blah, blah, blah. And what I love about Luke Skywalker's Jedi Order is that he was like, no more government interference, especially after the Dark Nest crisis. He was like, we need to completely overhaul that, and they did that. He trained a slew of new Jedi. A new generation of Jedi really grew and got their own stories told and everything like that. Like you have Jaina Solo, you have Kyle Katarn, Corran Horn, Kip Duran. Like, you have these incredible Jedi Knights and Masters that came and really helped, the new Jedi Order grow. And that is because of Luke's patience and the rules that he established for the new Jedi Order. Like, he was more his teachings would be if Qui-Gon Jinn was like the Grand Master of the Jedi Order. He allowed love in the Jedi Order. He allowed marriage. He didn't care about age. He would train anybody, or at least try to train anybody. Like, rebuilding the Jedi Order is probably like one of his better accomplishments, and he did it better than the Jedi of old. And he refused to allow the mistakes of the old Jedi Order to define the future of his new Jedi Order. He refused that. Because when you really break down the mistakes of the new Jedi Order, which we'll do later on down the line, but when we really break down the mistakes of the new Jedi Order, the new Jedi Order isn't completely innocent in why, or sorry, the old Jedi Order is not completely innocent in why they were destroyed in the first place. So, and we'll get to that later on, but like, they weren't completely innocent in that. Like, it wasn't just all Palpatine's doing. The Jedi had a lot to do with their own destruction. And the new Jedi Order, for Luke, he saw that. And he decided to build around that, safeguards, all of that. And then let's not forget, he got to marry Mara Jade. Like I said, he gets to marry. And he saw that love doesn't lead down to the dark side. Possession does. But love is one of the most powerful emotions of all. And love only strengthens your ways in the Force. He was able to have Ben Skywalker, who, Ben Skywalker had a lot to fulfill. You're the grandson of Anakin Skywalker, you're the son of Luke Skywalker, but Luke Skywalker was a devoted Jedi Master, Jedi husband, and Jedi son. Like, devoted to not just the Jedi, but to his family as well. And let's not forget, he defeated one of the greatest villains in Star Wars history, Abeloth. Abeloth is the most powerful deity as far as a Force deity goes. Abeloth is right up there with the son, the daughter, and the father. Right? She was powerful, and like I said, you have to read to read that. You need to go read Fate of the Jedi series. It's a great series. Like, there's a lot of like new like Luke Skywalker lore that goes on in Legends, and that's just one of another great series and everything. And anyways, that's why this is why Luke Skywalker is one of my favorite characters. And to me, if I had to do like my ultimate like Jedi Council type of situation, he would be the Grandmaster of it. Hands down, best Grandmaster ever type of thing. So yeah, that's Luke Skywalker for you. Well, Guys, it has been a pleasure. Again, I love doing this. I love talking about Star Wars. I'm glad we was able to get Luke Skywalker out the way and everything like that. Like I said, I was dying to do this episode, and so, uh, man, thank you guys. Like, just thank you for the opportunity to sit here and listen to me and everything. I know maybe I could be long-winded about certain things, but I just love what I do. I love my craft. I love you guys. I love doing it for you guys. So, like, thank you guys again and everything. Next episode, next week, we are going to be talking about The Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2 and their impact to the overall story of Star Wars. So I can't wait to do that episode. We're definitely doing gonna have some head turners on that one. So I'm definitely excited for that. But yeah, stay tuned. Again, like, follow, subscribe, share. If you know any Star Wars nerds, all that stuff like that, Holocron Radio is the place to be. Guys, it's been wonderful. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. We are available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. New episodes every Friday. May the Force be with you.